I'm in the old rag overflow parking lot. The main two lots are already full. It's about 10:15 on Saturday morning. And when you come in there, they're directing you into this. This used to be the original parking lot, but now it's the overflow. There's the new RAV4. I'm calling it the Blue Bomber. And we're going to close up the Bomber and head on up. I'm not hiking Old Rag Mountain. I'm going to hike through Weakley Hollow along the fire road. This is going to be a Recon hike. Getting ready for some bushwhacking this winter. I'll explain more as we go. The elevation here is 840 feet. Four-tenths of a mile into my hike. I'm not inside the park yet. I just made it to the new Old Rag parking lot. This is the main lot. It's full. And then up here, another 450 feet is the overflow lot. And then four-tenths of a mile behind me is the, well, it used to be the original lot, which is where I'm parked now. So we're going to keep on climbing the mountain along this road. Half a mile into my hike. The elevation here is 920 feet. Here's the second lot. It's completely full. And I'm going to continue on up the mountain. Six-tenths of a mile into my hike. Still not in the park yet. The elevation here is 920 feet, and we're going to continue on up this way into the park. This first turnoff here takes you into Nicholson Hollow, and that hikes up the mountain along the Hughes River, and that's a good hike too. I'm planning a winter bushwhack up there looking for old homesteads. And I've already got the one planned that I'm going to do up here in Weakley Hollow. I've already got the homesteads all mapped out. But between now and winter time, I decided I needed to get out and get some hiking in anyway. So I'm going to just hike up to the Old Rag Village where it was, the crossroads, and back. And I may look for some of my turnoff points along the way. So that's what I'm doing today. This is a Recon hike. Nine-tenths of a mile into my hike. Still not in the park, but we're getting close now. The elevation here is 1,040 feet. I love showing this sign because it's got bullet holes in it. Bunch of bullet holes. So, you know, it's nice when you're coming in, you whip out your handgun and you pop off a few rounds just to make sure your handgun's working good. All right, here we go into the park. There's 3 footbridges here. I'm standing on one of them. And there's the second footbridge, and there's a third one which takes you back over to the road, which is over there on the other side of the water. The fire road crosses right there. 1.2 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,080 feet. And this is my waypoint, Weakley Fireroad waypoint number 1. This is where the LiDAR indicates that the old road, let's call this the new road, and the old road came around that bend and went across the creek right in here somewhere. It looks, I see, well, there's a big rock here, and then there's a foot trail heading down this way. So I'm just going to take a quick little peek, see if I can see anything. I might not be able to cross the stream without getting wet, but I'll take a look over there, see if I see anything. .5 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,160 feet. Just for my own information, my waypoint, my road, abandoned road, waypoint 1.5 is right over there, less than 200 feet. But you can't cross the stream here because it's like a straight drop. So the first place that I showed you would have been the best place, because this is too hard to drop down. So down there's a possibility. When I get up here to my road waypoint number 2, I'll point that out. .6 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1190. And I'm just pointing this out, this rock wall there. I called that Hudson rock pile number 1. A man named Hudson owned this property. So there's 3 or 4 of these rock piles, and there's a wall up there somewhere. So we'll see about that if I can get up there. .6 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,220 feet. And I called this Hudson rock pile number 2. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I can see that this is, like right there, is the low side of a road. It's not really a rock pile. It's armored up the low side of a road. There's the high side of the road back there. And it ran in to the Weakley Hollow Fireroad right in through here. And when I get up a little higher, depending on the overgrowth, I might bushwhack up in there and see if I can find a wall or something. Just a little higher up, here's another section of a wall or part of a road. .7 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,260, and I pushed in just a short distance, maybe 100 feet, and yeah, there's definitely a big wall here. Goes down that way. I'll have to come back this winter. I'll check it out. Right here, it's probably, I'm standing at the base. That's probably about 7 or 8 feet right there, and heading on up this way. I can't tell if it's part of a road or what it is right now, and I'm guessing there's some more stuff up there. So I have to come back when all this stuff's died down and take a closer look. But the rock wall that I saw on the LiDAR is definitely right here. 1.9 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,275 feet. And this is my waypoint Hudson rock pile number 3. Now that thing's pretty big, so I'm gonna walk over there and get a closer shot of it. There's actually 2 piles here. There's a small pile right there, and then the big pile's back there. Note to myself, I repositioned waypoint Hudson rock pile number 3 by about 50 feet. Here's the big pile, and it's big. Over there closer to the road is the small rock pile. You can easily see that from the road. And then that light colored trace over there is the fire road that I'm coming up on. And then behind this rock pile, I mean, I don't see anything except that there's more rock piles back here behind it. So this would be a good spot to come back and explore. Oh, there's rock piles there. Some more over there. Great. Here's the back side of the big rock pile. And then out there is the fire road. So over there's that big rock pile, and here's the fire road coming up. And right here on the other side is a turnoff that heads down towards the creek. And this is fairly close to this is on the other side of the creek from my waypoint R2. I'll point that out when I do the map talk. So I don't know if they've been using this as a turnaround point or what, but it's been maintained down to where you see the growth. So come back in the wintertime, see if this thing takes you across the creek and over to R2. We'll see about that in the winter. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep climbing the mountain. This is creek crossing waypoint number 2. Looks like a pretty good place to cross over to the, look for the abandoned road over there. Plenty of rocks here to hop across. And right up there is the fire road. .5 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,390 feet, and this is crossing, I'm calling this crossing number 3. This looks like the easiest one yet. Almost looks like they carved out through the rocks over there. It's kind of interesting. Looks like it came across here and right up there to the road. There's the fire road. Crossing number 3 is looking like a winner. .9 miles into my hike. The elevation here is 1,530 feet. And right over here, this way, let me look at my GPS, about 1/10 of a mile across the creek, and over there where about 1/10 of a mile is Homestead Hudson number 2. My Homestead Hudson number 2. I'll point it out on the map. And you know what? It's probably more than a coincidence that there's a road here, turn off, coming down, see the rocks, and then right here's the turn off, and that's headed that way to go across the creek. Probably intersected with the old road over there, and then the homestead's up this way just a little ways. So here's another possible, I guess I'll call this crossing number 4. .9 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,560 feet. That's where I came from. And this over here in this area is where Homestead Hudson number 1 was. And I marked this spot right here because this looks like the driveway. This is the driveway. Up there, that's the high side of the driveway, and that big boulder's on the low side of the driveway. So the driveway went on up there in between that boulder and that rock pile up there. So that's where I'd come back to bushwhack, up in that direction for Hudson Homestead 1. Three miles, 3.1 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,590 feet. It's the way I came from, around that bend down there. And right over here on the left, in that direction, about 150 feet or so, this side of the creek, is the site of what I called Hudson Homestead number 2. So, and then beyond that, across the creek, in that same direction, would be Homestead 16. I forgot who owned that one right now. So this is another possible jumping off point right here. I'll keep on climbing the mountain for a while. .5 miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,740 feet. And this is Nicholson. Over this way was Nicholson. I called it Nicholson Homestead 4. Back in there, maybe a couple hundred feet. And actually, looking at it right from here, there's not as many trees up in through there as there is next door, like right there. See how dense that is with trees? And then this is more cleared out. So I'll be coming back and bushwhacking up in there this winter. There's Old Drag Summit. Four miles into my hike, I'm up to 1,865 feet. That's where I came from, up the fire road. And maybe you can see this is an old road. This one you can see on the LiDAR crosses the creek and takes you over to the old homesteads. So here's another, this is my road waypoint number 10. And I think it heads up over this way too, but that's totally overgrown. So we get up here a little further, we'll see if we can pick it up. So I believe this is the location of the old rag school right here. When you're coming up the fire road, it's just off to the right. It's just a big pile of rocks now. But the old road comes right by here. So I adjusted my waypoint for the school by a small amount. Another look at the school. Here's the old road. Looking uphill. Bunch of rocks. There's the big rock pile. Here's the road. Here's the old road continuing on. And right there's the fire road. So it's literally that close to the fire road. Note to myself, I marked a waypoint R255M. It's a road or a driveway heading up from this point, heading up the mountain, bearing 255 magnetic. I'll have to compare that with the homesteads and see if it's close to a homestead. This is a map of today's hike. The quadrangle name is Old Rag Mountain, 1994. And this was a Recon hike. I'm starting to plan for my winter bushwhacks. This was a hike up the Weakley Hollow Fireroad to look for convenient places to cross the creek, etc. when winter comes, so I can go looking for the old homesteads. Let me first switch to this old map. This is Stony Man 1929, and this white area is the cleared out area that didn't have trees back then. And starting here, I started numbering the homesteads. They're represented on this map by little squares. So there's homestead 1, 2, 3, 4. And I came on down the line to the old rag crossroads and then circled back around like this and ended up over here with homestead number 18. So I took these and put them on this old rag 1994 map. Now, I'm going to switch back to my original map here in a minute, but I just wanted you to see that here's the parking lot. And on this map, this pink color is the existing road. So when you hike up Weakley Hollow Fireroad, you're hiking on this pink part right here. The green part is the road that is on the 1929 map. That's this road here. The green road is the old road. And it's on the other side of the creek. Here's the creek. Here's the current day road. Here's the creek. And here's the old road. And you'll notice that a lot of these homesteads that are colored in blue are over here on the other side of the creek. So that's what I'm getting ready for. Now, back to my original map. So what I did on this hike was, and this took a lot more time than what I thought it was going to take, but this is the Old Rag parking lot. On the weekends, if you get there after about 9 o'clock in the morning, this lot's going to be full. So I had to park way back here, which is now called the overflow lot, but this used to be the original Old Rag lot right here. So walking on up Weakley Hollow Road, you come into the park, you cross over the creek here, and then shortly after you cross over the creek, here's where R1, this says R1, this is where the old road veered off down this way on the other side of the creek, down like this. So I looked, that was crossing number 1. Then I hit this rock pile here, another rock pile. I pushed back into the woods just a short distance to see if there was a wall back there, and there is. There's a wall right here. And it's about 300 feet long, according to the LiDAR. So it may be terracing that was done back here. It'll be easier to figure out once winter comes. So I'll be going back in the winter looking in through here. There's a lot of stuff up in here. Here's another big rock pile, and near that rock pile looked like there was a way to cross over the creek over to here. R2 is another waypoint for the road that's over here. Here's another crossing. This is crossing number 3 right here. 17 is one of the old homesteads right there. Let's see. And here's crossing number 4. Right here I found a driveway, what looked like a driveway to me. This is one of the homesteads right here. This is one of the homesteads right here. This mark here that says R255M, that was a road heading off in this direction on a heading of 255 magnetic. That looks like a driveway that was headed up to this homestead right here, number 6. This is where the school was. R10 is where the old road crossed over onto this side here, east of the existing road. Hiked on up to here, the crossroads, and back. Now, I don't think there's more than a half a dozen out of the 18 homesteads. I think there's only about a half a dozen of them that are within reach from this side. The rest of them I'm going to have to cross over and bushwhack in through here to find them. I think finding them all is going to be quite a job. It's no way you can do it all in one hike. Anyway, this little stroll I took from the Old Rag parking lot up to here and back ended up being 6.6 miles with a total ascent of 1,180 feet. And that was the hike for today.